First, okay. Spawning in the top left, apparently with a quote-unquote epic run through the losers bracket, we have HyppiCorpo. That name is so confusing. From the Heartland Hitman clan.
And in the bottom right, in the blue, our Protoss player in the finals of the gold bracket, we have Heartland Hitmen's Spork. Recently, actually made a run through the team league, the Sin TDS team league, getting an all kill for the gold team.
Do you know what he played against, or did you not put that in your notes?
Oh man, looking too deep. He played all three races. I remember.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah.
So he is solid all around. I've actually heard a lot from him in chat, though, but I haven't been in the clan that long, so I haven't seen him play. And it looks pretty standard opening so far. The Zerg's sending his first Overlord out to the Protoss Natural to see if he is Forge Fast expanding, which indeed he is. And his second Overlord over to his Natural, which I guess he's worried about some cannon rush, or maybe just a pylon blocking the Natural. He's going to make sure that he has vision of that.
Yeah, that's a little tactic I enjoy using on the ladder. You just never know what people are going to do. And the hatchery, of course, doesn't give good enough vision.
That's true. It tells me that he's a little bit unsure of the playstyle, because, you know, some Zergs like to just send a drone out and just be confident, but it tells me that maybe they haven't scrimmed together as much. He might not know what's coming out.
Very true.
Drone Scout, too. Sorry to interrupt you. The Drone Scout also going to the Protoss, so he wants to know everything.
Yeah, the Drone Scout's a little odd for ZVP, mostly a ZVT thing. Would be cool to see him do that. Did you see that little trick on this map of the gas blocking, the Terran player?
Oh, no, I didn't. Tell me what's up.
Oh, the Terran player did this little trick. He managed to get his SCVs stuck inside of the gas so they were untargetable in melee and blocked the gas.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So you mean, like, he was building it without being, like, probe harassed?
No, he I think he spammed building a refinery and got his SCV stuck inside of the actual geyser, so the gas wasn't able to be taken because it was theoretically there was an enemy unit in the spot.
And what, he had to get out a range unit to take care of it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty sick.
So you had to take the natural, get the gas there, and get the stalker out.
So yeah, everything pretty standard so far, except for our Protoss buddy is playing a little bit defensive here. He's getting up the gateway and the cannon before the Nexus. It's going to mean that he's going to have a few less probes. His mining might be a little bit delayed, but it's going to allow his attack to be a lot better, so he might be able to put more pressure on the eventual Zerg third, or he just may be doing it because he wants to be a little bit defensive. Actually, I'm pretty sure the Zerg's hatch came out a little bit later than he expected, and he wasn't being as pokey with the probe. But it looks like the Zerg will be playing defensive and getting up that quicker.
You know, I'd like to make the point that the gap here in this wall might be a little bigger than he intended. I'm not sure probe. At least 3 Zerglings would be able to hit it, so
yeah,
a little iffy.
A lot of Protoss like to actually move that pylon like back a little bit, like down into the right one. You can't because the brick's there, but you move it down into the right one, then you can only have 1 or 2 Zerglings, and obviously it takes a lot longer for the Zerglings to wrap around the cannon. The one advantage this does have, though, is it makes roaches a lot less likely to bust in. The roaches are going to have a lot more difficult of a time getting this more horizontal wall than the draped wall, but it is a little bit more vulnerable to Zerglings. You were right.
Alright, and we have seen the third, so we won't see Lennox 2-base style play. That's, of course, my favorite, and also one we've seen a lot of recently in pro play. But 2 slightly early gases, those went down about 25 seconds before the typical timing with the early third base.
Yeah, and also from the Protoss, we have 3 extra gateways coming up off of only 1 gas, and no +1 started, so it's not going to be some +1s out harass. But it tells me that maybe he wants to take a quick third or just delay his tech and do something burial. And oh, excuse me, I'm stupid. That's a robotics facility, but still off of 1 gas, so maybe he wants to do some drop play or just play like either really aggressive or really defensive. Do something aggressive with like low gas robotech like Immortals, or he wants to get a quick third. But it's really up to him. He's playing very standard and very basic, and meanwhile, Zerg 4th going up.
Oh man, a very early 4th. So kind of reading that gateway first before the Nexus, saying that that defense will be taken advantage of, and that he's not going to have that poke out quite as fast.
Yeah.
With the net or the second gas going down in the main, could this still be an Immortal Sentry style push, or I guess not because the sentries haven't been made yet?
It would be tough for it to be Immortal Sentry because those two gases were just now taken, which is what I think led to the third. But it's also kind of risky because he didn't have an Overload Scout in the main, but that is going right now, so I guess maybe he could cancel the fourth if he wanted to. But he knows that there's not going to be a lot of sentries. It could be like a Warp Prism gateway timing, but the fact that these gateways are going down now means that his fourth will probably be safe. But the Zerg has sacrificed a lot here. If you look at the income tab, he only has 31 workers compared to the Protoss's 40. So he's going to be dipping a little bit, and if the Protoss forces out some more units right now, the Zerg could be in a very uncomfortable position.
Very true. There are two more gases on the natural having gone down, and a first Immortal going out of that robotics facility. So a very nice call on low gas Robotech. I'll be interested to see HyppiCorpo's larva use for the next couple minutes. If he is going to decide to make, to be frank, any defenses outside of the static spine crawlers, and a couple more queens which he's put out.
Yeah, it is very interesting. It looks like he'll be okay, either through luck or a good read. He's reading his opponent pretty well. This Overlord's actually still in the main, just chilling out, so he's pretty much seeing everything right now. And he's getting the 1-1, obviously, with the range, as you can see, and the Hydra Den, so it looks like he's going to be going Roach Hydra. No Roach speed yet. It looks like he's a little bit low on the minerals. Maybe his build isn't quite as refined as he wants it to be yet, but it's getting him what he wants. He's getting the drones up. He's got 4 bases, and now he just needs to work off that before the eventual Protoss push comes. Because it looks like no third is on the way, and he's playing for keeps right now.
Yeah, that's going to end up being a little scary. No forward pylon yet. There is, at the standard fourth, nothing there. Were Spork to go ahead and try to start that kind of a push. Hippie being very good about Zergling scouting around the map, though. Making sure that there's no third coming down. The third trying to come down, actually, just now for Spork.
Huh, yeah. And also, I think Spork is a little bit confused because, like we said, the Zerg took an early fourth, and he didn't have as many drones as he wanted. And he sent his observer to the main, the natural, and to the third, and he saw like a lot of gas mining and not a lot of drones out at all the bases. So I think maybe he thought that something all-inish was going to come, like you saw like the second Forge and the Twilight, play a little bit defensive, but now he kind of wants to get that third up. I think he's just a little bit maybe perplexed with what's going on, or he's just playing like more standard, more safe, wants to get everything out before he does anything risky and takes control of the map. But he is up in supply by about 20, and he's at a comfortable worker position of 50, so he's doing a good job.
Also, I'd like to point out if you press 2 and look through Spork's vision, he actually doesn't know that that fourth is even down. So he's got to be even more confused as to where all those minerals went.
Very true. That's a very good point. He hasn't even looked out. He's very comfortable, but we do see an Immortal drop going to the third, so he sees that there's, with his observer, that there's no static defense there. And maybe he thinks that the Zerg wants to be aggressive because his natural is very fortified. It would be tough to break up that, even with the Stalkers not having Blink, and actually the upgrades are about to finish for armor and charges on the way. But this Immortal drop is pretty nice, but I don't think he's going to see the Hydras coming. Oh, actually, there aren't any out yet, so that this Immortal drop could do a lot of damage at the third if our Zerg player does not react quickly.
Very, very true. Spork being good about keeping that out of Zerg vision until the very last second. I'd like to see him focus on that queen, to be honest. Killing Zerglings with an Immortal is going to be a little slower and less efficient than it could be.
Yeah.
And these Lings coming out, oh man, he's in a risky spot because he can't keep that going. The Zerg reacted well enough.
Yeah, I think he realized that when he came over there and there weren't still that many drones, maybe he thought he wasn't going to do that much and he picked off some drones. Maybe he's not even looking to kill much, but I think he could have gotten the queen there, you're right. I just think he knew that he could have target on the hatch. A lot of things that you can do with this Immortal play is you can actually warp in Zealots and just focus the hatch, and the Zealots are basically worthless, and we just float over some Hydras. And so the Immortals... Yeah, and the Immortals are just going to... Yeah, and he did find the fourth, very true. And the Immortals can just target it down, get back up, and then the Zealots can finish it off. It's pretty nice, but it's very cost-intensive. You know, it's just a very expensive dropship, and with the Hydras out, he's got to be really careful.
Very true. He's coming into the main, sniping that queen, and this means that all of that tech right now is so vulnerable with that Hydralisk Den not even having muscular augments finish. So those will be slow Hydras for quite some time now, and Spork can just pick up and leave.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, good job picking off the Hydra Den. Ooh, you better not lose that, though. I guess they don't have musculars, but he is caught in the corner. He could actually lose that. Wow. That's going to be a pretty big loss. He kind of looked away for it for a second. Very unfortunate. Maybe he thought he queued it up out. But he's still in an okay position. The Zerg has regained a pretty comfortable supply lead. He might want to be a little bit more up to be on Roach Hydra, but he's in a good spot. And the game has started to even out, and now the game is in the Protoss player's court. It's going to be all about how the Zerg can deny the eventual Protoss fourth. And it looks like the Zerg is posturing to get out on the map. I don't think he can make any plays on the Protoss third. But
especially without wing speed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's actually really true. I don't think he notices that. But oh wow, the Protoss actually going to make a move out, and his whole army is on move command. This is really bad for him.
Oh man, lots of free units going down. One immortal will go down, potentially a second. Depends on how well those zealots work. Oh man, he's going to lose his entire army.
I mean, the thing was, he kind of got into a really bad position. It was kind of the worst possible place he could have move commanded, especially since he had an observer over. He kind of got his army stuck up against those rocks, and if he had any other army, because of the lack of link speed in any other position, he could have backed out, but he just didn't have the positioning, and the Zerg is going to take a huge supply lead. And the game was in the Protoss' court, and now it's going to make it really hard. And actually, a counterattack at the third, and that's going to get dropped right there.
Yeah, that's definitely going down. We do have extended thermal lance coming out. 2 more immortals in production. There are 2 robotics facilities. So if he can hold this, if he can get some kind of stability, he will get those colossi out and eat the Hydra composition of the Zerg. But I'm not sure he can even hold it at this point.
Yeah, and the Zerg, even preparing for the Colossus transition, he's getting +1 attack on his air, so that he could get Corruptors out in time to deal with that Colossus transition, but it looks like it's not even going to matter. Some cute little micro from Spork, but even the Overseer here to detect the DTs if they came out, I think this one's just done, and yep, that's GG.
So, a convincing Game 1 victory by HyppiCorpo off of a mistake from Spork. Be very interesting to see if there are some changes to the styles of both players, Spork maybe being a little more offensive with his next game. So
yeah, I felt like the game went very evenly, but I think that Spork might overreact a little bit considering that he didn't see that fourth until so late. I think he was really surprised by it, and it kind of like messed with his mind with the immortal drop because he wasn't even expecting to fly over. He just wanted to go into the main and do some damage. And after that, it looked like he kind of just got a bit confused, didn't really know what he wanted to do.